We're now going to hear first Ashton Holmes, the first 10 years. So please come gather back. We're going to begin our program, second half. All the program directors, you can come forward. I do want to acknowledge I saw the amazing Derek Phillips from the Real Dads Network here. I saw him somewhere. There he is. Hey, Derek. Thank you for coming out. So this afternoon, we have a really, really special treat for you as well. I will just tell you a couple of things before we get into the program, before I introduce Ron. We have a raffle. As you know, you receive raffle tickets. So we have raffles that are coming to you at the end. So please stay. Some very, very valuable things. What you see up there, some signed balls, signed hats from the no-hitter earlier this season by all 5 pitchers from that game, and 2 tickets to a game this season. Not playoffs, but regular season games. Next week, yes. It's got to be soon because the playoffs are around the corner. All right, so I'm going to, at this time, I'm going to come back at the end for remarks. I do want to make sure our program directors are prepared for their presentations after our keynote. So I will make some announcements at that time. But I do want to bring up at this time the incomparable and amazing Ron West, who is the special events coordinator for the CUNY BMI program. And he's done such an amazing job and continues to do great work. He's years of CUNY experience, and we're so lucky to have him. So he's going to introduce our MC, Mr. Ron West. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, everyone. I just want to say, make a brief comment. This has been a very, very interesting experience because I'm kind of seeing my BMI CUNY experience flash in front of me. You know, some old relationships, some old friendships, and this is really a very important event. I've had the good fortune to be in CUNY about 18 years, and I must say that, you know, watching BMI develop from the time it was just on pieces of paper to now has really been an interesting experience. And Jonathan and I go back, way back, and we've had some interesting directors, but now it's time for everybody to know who we are. And so what I love about this is the fact that we become very extroverted in terms of our personality and our approach to letting the city know who we are, what value we have to students, and how important we are. The gentleman I'm going to introduce is a fixture in New York. His father was even more of a fixture. His father happened to be a member of the last New York Knicks championship team. No one in this room was probably alive then, but he was. And his dad, you know, went on to from high school to college to professional ranks. He's a legend, you know, Dean Meminger. And his son is also becoming that. He's a prominent fixture at New York One. He's been there 25 years. And when I reached out to ask him if he would come and be a part of this, he said, yeah, I had to actually go to an event to get him. And so we exchanged information, but he was very agreeable and very open and very welcome. And I said, look, Dean, we don't want this to be a one-hit piece. We want you to be a part of us and work with us. And he said, sure. So he's one of our rising stars here in New York. Any student who's in this room that has questions about career development, education, I'm a career educator. I come out of that for CUNY. And Dean is a living example of your dream becoming reality. I mean, he really is, you know. So I think that without further ado, let's really give a warm welcome to Dean Meminger from New York One.
Thank you, Mr. West.
Mr. West. All right, I know my colleague Cheryl Wills was up here for this morning. She's very eloquent and poised and has a great story. But since I have the afternoon, I am a Bronx boy, so I want to say that we don't have any. Hey, right, what's up, BX? What's wait? No cameras rolling in here, right? I may get fired. They may say, Dean, come on up to HR when you come back to work. Now, but I really like to keep it real when I speak, because when people see me on TV, with the nice suit and the glasses, they don't realize, no, I'm a Bronx boy. I'm born in Harlem, raised in the Bronx. I'm from here. And if a lot of you watch New York One, and for the people on Instagram, go to my Instagram at Dean Meminger. You will see I had LL on last month when I was hosting the morning show, and he knew I was from the Bronx because he was from Queens, and I was going. Look, Eminem, Melva Miller over here. I'm gonna get to you in a minute. You know, yeah, he knew I was from the Bronx, but I'm up there poised and talking. He goes, "Oh, you from the Bronx? You're giving me Jersey vibes. I think you're from New Jersey." Everybody that knows me were like, "What is he talking about?" So that is on my Instagram for all the students at Dean Meminger. Don't sit there. Go to at Dean Meminger now. And then I had to pull it out on him. I had to go back in the files, and then I had to repost Fat Joe came to me. We were sitting down at Rucker in Harlem, and Fat Joe, we did a little piece. He goes, "Yo, Dean Meminger, you got to tell him we grew up in the same building together," and people were surprised. So I know a lot of he mentioned that may he rest in peace. My dad, Dean the Dream Meminger, who I consider him the original number 7 for the New York Knicks. He and people say, "Well, how did you grow up in the South Bronx and your dad was at the Knicks?" Well, if my father played today, I would have millions of dollars. But my father got drafted in 1970, so they weren't making that kind of money. But trust me, the number 1 draft pick for the Knicks right now, he would be making a lot of dough. And for all of the Knicks fans, since we're at Citi Field, it's been 50 years since the Knicks won a championship. The last season was 1972-73. So hopefully the Knicks will do it. So, and I come in with that saying, I like to keep it real so people can see, as he mentioned, yeah, I am from the Bronx, from the South Bronx. I am proud of that. I am a Harlem boy as well. I don't tell a lot of people that, but I am, raised partly in Harlem as well, because that's where my grandparents were. And when they said come and speak, I guess I spoke to BMI. I don't know what year was that. 2010. Wow, at Lehman College, and so I've been somewhat a part of the organization for a long time as well. And and this is a small group, which I kind of appreciate. I know we have a lot of the directors here and all, but we have the students as well who we are honoring. And what I was telling some of them, and I think it's important, is that you saw Cheryl up here. She's been at New York One. She helped paint the place because she's been there 30 years, and New York One is 30 years old. I'm there 25 years. A lot of people think I am one of the originals, but I actually started at 5 years after they started. But because I've been so high profile with the stories I've had to cover, I'm the anchor person at New York One, but also the criminal justice reporter. So I cover a lot of heavy stuff. And I was telling the young people though, and we all are here. I was saying Cheryl and I, as you can see, we're still on our grind. And we are well situated, right? 25, 30 years at one company, but you see we're here, we're on our grind, selling ourselves, young people. So just because you're moving up, you're about to graduate college or whatever, you're going to be on your grind for the next 25 to 30 years, right? And right here, all of the professors and program directors, we're on our grind. So the people you meet here today, please save their phone numbers, their emails, their LinkedIn. Somebody asked me if I had a business card. I said, I don't deal with that anymore. I have business cards still on my dresser this high. My wife is yelling at me, like, you got to clean up. So, the LinkedIn, the Instagram, keep them. You had the mayor up here. If I'd have walked in, the mayor would have said, yo, what's up, Dean? They say, he got his swagger. Okay, you're from Brooklyn and Queens. I'm from the Bronx. I got swagger too. But the bottom line is that I've known the mayor for 25 to 30 years, right? And I still have his number. He was at a press conference and the PR people didn't want to call on me. And he thought, no, we got to call on Dean, else he's going to text me. It's like, I put me on blast. But I told the mayor, I says, well, you know what? I'm going to return the favor because before you were this high up, you were calling me to put you on TV, right? So we laugh, but I point that out to say the connections you make today. Trust me, it's not just about, oh, I need the job next year. 20 years from now, right? 30 years from now. And you'll be surprised. I can't believe, I'm in the 5-0 club. It went by fast. But, the mayor, when I was like 22, 23, whew, I can call him on the phone and say, Mr. Mayor, what's going on? Not looking for a favor, but hey, I got breaking news. What can you tell me? So I just want to let you guys know, keep those connections. I know some of us, I'm very extroverted and some people are not extroverted, but still make it a point to know the people who you are meeting, because in this room, I've heard some of the stories. You guys are going to be the next Miller. Miss Miller is here. She's been on the grind a long time. At some point, it will be you with your CUNY connection. Trust me. Young man said he wanted to follow in his footsteps as a firefighter. He probably didn't even know, right? That's you, correct? I'm paying attention. I know who you are. I got your address and cell phone number now already. I'm a real newsman. I got it now. He's like, oh my God, no. But you didn't know Cheryl's dad was probably a firefighter. The connections that you meet when you're in groups like this is so important. And I'm going to wrap it up because we do have a keynote speaker. But my first big break was actually, I know you younger people, you're streaming and all, but I know you know what Hot 97 is. I could call Ebro up in the mornings right now, say, yo, what's up, Ebro? Here's some breaking news for you. And they're paying attention to the stories I do. But my first big break came from while I was in college, I went to a broadcast journalism seminar. I think it was at NYU or Columbia. I went to Pace University in Westchester County, but it was there. And that's when I met, and the people in the audience were a little older. I met the news director, my father in journalism, Bob Slade, the news director for 98.7 KISS FM. Right? Give it up. And it's because of him is why I met people like Eric Adams and so forth. But when I went to that seminar, I ended up getting an internship at KISS FM. And from there, that went on. I started working for, some of you may know if you have diversity and you're listening, from KISS, they were in the same building. I got a job at WOR Radio 710 AM, which is really back then was real conservative, very white. But I was trained in black and white radio. So that's how I was able to go up the middle. And it just went from there to where I am today, being able to host one of the shows on New York One, and LL Cool J's people call me and say, hey, LL has a concert going on in Queens. Can he come on the show? Right? So that is why I say you're on your grind. You don't think I was on my grind trying to get LL into the building? I was on my grind. And the diversity I see, I know this is BMI, but I know there's diversity when we talk about the group here. And that is important. And the reason I'm here is because as a newsman, too often I put young men on TV like this in cuffs. Right? They shot someone, they killed someone. But I tell my bosses, it's important for us to cover things like this because there are a lot of young men who do great things, who go to school every day, who go to work, who go to church, whether it's church, synagogue, mosque, whatever, and we need to cover them. So I want to give it up for all of the young people here. And yes, I'm going to say it again because I want to follow you young people at Dean Meminger on Twitter and Instagram. I want to see what you're doing. But what I want to do is bring up the next person. I know she's from Queens, from the Bronx, but that's okay. And I'm in Queens, I started out as the Bronx reporter for New York One. And when I would go to Brooklyn and Queens, the people were connected to New York One. And they would ask me like, what are you doing in Brooklyn? What are you doing in Queens? Because they knew I was the Bronx reporter. So people are definitely connected to that. But Melva Miller is from the Association for a Better New York, the first CEO for that. Is that what it says? Wow. First chief executive officer. And, when you talk about the Association for a Better New York, so that you know who's in the building, when she calls up the mayor responds. She calls up the senator, they respond. We need you to speak at one of our breakfasts, right? The breakfast is the big thing. I know that. She's in the building, right? So understand who you are with. You know, through economic development, long-term planning, stakeholder engagement, strategic partnerships, and the expansion and evolution of ABNY's membership, they actually try to make New York City better. So she's dealing with public, private, economic development, big companies to make New York better. And as I mentioned, she's a Queens girl, so she's done a lot in Queens. She is also a former deputy borough president of Queens. She's helped out in Jamaica. Are you originally from Jamaica, Queens? What part? Kind of so. Laurel, Laurelton. We're in Laurelton. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Well, look, but so I'm a newsman, so Laurelton, in terms of we're talking about it BMI, and once again, I know there's diversity. A lot of us who are black are actually mixed, right? We have Latino, we have white, we have Asian. But so that you know, Laurelton, in terms of black people, one of the highest median incomes in the country for black individuals, right here in Queens, Laurelton. So know that, know your history, right? So she deals with. I'm gonna let her tell her own story, but really, I just keep pushing that, and I hope the young people who received awards this afternoon and this morning really take that home. And I know the program directors, you guys too, same thing. I know you're on the grind, and continue success to programs like BMI because it is important. And I mentioned, because this program is about a lot of mentorship, and that's why I mentioned Bob Slade. And the older people in the room know the power of Bob Slade. He was a man who mentored me, right? No matter what. I mean, I was on radio. Bob would stay with me in the studio until 8 o'clock in the morning from the night before, making sure that Dean Meminger sounded good. And that's where I am today because of mentors. So the mentors here, you guys, keep it up. Keep it up. I'm going to bring up, I don't know if they call it this, but I'm going to call it Eminem. Melva Miller, come on up. Give it up. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to move out your way.
Thank you, Dean. We'll give him a pass, right? There was a lot of Bronx talk in the house, but we all know it's about where you're at, right? Not where you're from. Queens. But no, thank you. I really appreciate that, Dean. And I also appreciate the message of mentorship and relationships, right? Because, I mean, he really coined it. Every professional opportunity that I've received in my life has come from a relationship or a mentorship, every single one. Right. So, make sure that you are creating those connections. You're talking to those folks. The firefighter, my husband's a firefighter. We could talk about it. I have a meeting with the commissioner next week. We could talk about it. But, make sure you take advantage of the people who are around you, because I think if you look at other communities, right, they know how to do that really well. So we have to make sure that we continue to do that for ourselves. So good afternoon, everyone. I am so honored to be here and to join you. And, I hear you had an amazing first half of your conference with some phenomenal speakers. The mayor was here, and my good friend, the chancellor, Felix Matos Rodriguez, was here this morning. And I'm so honored to sort of follow them in the afternoon program. And also, what's really important, let's acknowledge those who are being recognized here today for their achievements. Can we get a round of applause for them, please? Because that's why we're here, right? To not only celebrate the program, but celebrate the folks who are successful in the program, because they are our future. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute and have a call to action for you. So, always got to put you to work. So I stand here before you today as a proud CUNY graduate. 3 degrees, working on my 4th, right? Like, yeah, I know, right? Enough is enough. I say that every day. And working on the 4th is actually being a little generous. I'm in a PhD program, and the work that I'm doing, yeah, is a little slow, but that's why you keep the chancellor next to you in case you have to call in that relationship. But the reason why I mentioned my CUNY experience is because, being part of CUNY is like being part of a special club. right? I feel that every day. Every time I walk in the room and someone says either they've taught at CUNY, because there's phenomenal instructors, professors, researchers, right? Directors who are here in the room, students, those who are in the field doing the work in New York City, CUNY graduates, right? That was the best part of my CUNY experience, being taught by people who are actually doing the work in city agencies, in nonprofits, right? In the private sector. We're part of a very special club. And recognizing the moment of time that we're in and all that we've really accomplished over the last 2 years, I'm happy to see that the city's moving around again, right? It's been tough, right? As I move from borough to borough, place to place, the restaurants are full, right? The neighborhoods are bustling. And it's because of New York City's workforce, right? It's the workforce that keeps us moving. It's the bus drivers, right? The childcare workers, the delivery workers, the technicians, the tech in those companies, because the transitions, right, during COVID, tech was extremely important. And that is the number one sector for growth employment in the city is tech. So tech and tech jobs, tech and non-tech jobs, right? It doesn't matter where you work, technology is an important part of that. So it was the tech workers that kept us moving through this last pandemic, through the pandemic. And, you know, these are the unsung heroes, right? These are the people we don't talk about every day. And it's because of New York's talented workforce is the reason why the city was moving. People often forget talent is New York City's most important resource. And what makes this city great is our diverse talent. It has always been our talent. And CUNY is the largest talent pipeline for this city. With more than 250 degree programs and countless continuing ed and certificate programs, CUNY has been for many decades and continues to be the region's skill-based talent pipeline and major economic development resource. I work with them every day in private businesses, in the public sector, and nonprofits. It's the workforce that's really making this city great. And this is exactly why I stand in front of you today as a proud CUNY graduate. I'm so proud of the connections that I've made, and I hope that you're just as proud as being a part of CUNY too. So give yourself a round of applause. So again, my name is Melva Miller. I run an organization called the Association for a Better New York, affectionately known as ABNY. We do these power breakfasts, as Dean mentioned, where we have even sitting presidents come talk to our membership. We have congressional leaders, U.S. senators come and talk to our membership. But we were really created in 1971 to deal with the problems of the day, right? When New York City was in a crisis, not dissimilar to the moment in time that we are in today, our founders got together and said, we want to do our part to make sure that the city continues to be the place that we love. We want to make sure that the city continues to be able to give back to others the way that they gave back to them. So in 1970, when we faced the financial difficulties we faced, it was called the worst fiscal crisis in the last 400 years. And we were born out of this need, right? This need to help New York City deal with the financial emergency, taking on unprecedented role in doing a job that historically was really sent to city governments, right? We did things like sent their private sanitation crews out on the streets to clean the streets. Many of you might not remember, but there was a sanitation strike in the 1970s. And ABNY members said, we're going to pay our employees to go up and clean the streets. We did things like prepaid their property tax, right? Our founders were some of the largest property owners in the city. So what they did was, to prevent New York City from filing bankruptcy, they prepaid their property taxes for a couple of years so that the city had money to pay the workforce. We spearheaded the legendary I Love New York campaign. We worked with stakeholders to keep the U.S. open in New York and help relocate the USTA from Forest Hill Stadium to Flushing Meadows Corona Park, right across from where we are today. These are the creative solutions that we've done over the years. Most recently, we were instrumental in making sure that every single New Yorker knew that they needed to be counted in the 2020 census. And as a result, we saved one congressional seat for New York and billions of dollars coming to our state for free breakfast and lunch programs, for subsidies for affordable housing, right? For things like support for our healthcare centers and our hospitals, right? So these are the things that we've done over the years to make sure that New York continues to be a place that's great for all. But more importantly, as we think about New York City's recovery and we think about what it takes to make sure that New York continues to be a great place for all, we know that there are some communities that are still in crisis, right? It's just a fact, and we know that. Let's be honest, it's been a tough couple of years, right? Especially for some disconnected and disenfranchised communities. And the frustration we saw on the streets after the George Floyd killing, we all know it wasn't just about George Floyd, right? It was about decades and decades of frustration, of people feeling like they were less than, right? That's what we saw on the streets. It was about folks being tired of being treated less than other folks, right? Not just by the police, but by everyday citizens, right? It was about the pain communities have been suffering for decades. Communities of color all across this nation have been ravaged by COVID. And not just the health ramifications, but also the economic losses, right, as a result of COVID. COVID has really lit, and we talk about this all the time, right? And we've heard it over and over the past 2 years, and we really want to know what people are doing about it. But we know COVID has really laid bare to the underlying racial injustices and disparities within our city, right? Whether through disproportionate rates of infections and deaths in communities of color, lack of health access to healthcare, housing, economic opportunities, or just the economic devastation of job losses, which we are still feeling today, right? We hear that the unemployment rate is better in New York City and across the nation, but in certain communities, it's still double digits, right? That is unacceptable. And an estimated 2/3 of those job losses are people of color, right? We share a majority of the job losses. So when we talk about those underlying issues, right, what are we talking about? We're talking about structural racism that produces negative outcomes for Black and Brown New Yorkers. We're talking about health providers and communities of color that are grossly under-resourced. We're talking about essential workers in our city. We talk firefighters, right? Teachers, police officers, home attendants, postal workers, right? Are disproportionately people of color with higher exposure to COVID. And as we struggle with this recovery from all of these types of assaults that I talked about, an important question is raised. Where do we go from here? What do we do? As we think about economic recovery and the pathway forward in responding to COVID recovery and the underlying racial injustices that I mentioned, one thing is clear. We will not be successful if we simply go back to normal, right? Normal has not been working for far too many New Yorkers and far too many communities for far too long. And who will be the stewards of this change I'm talking about? COVID-19 has already caused levels of economic devastation in this country that can only be compared to the Great Depression. Now, policymakers, academics, researchers have all pointed to the New Deal as a model for how the federal government and other governments, local level governments, should respond to today's crisis. However, we all know, and if you don't, I'm sure that there's somebody could give you a history lesson in this room, that there are flaws in that historic legislation, right? Creating deeply entrenched racial and financial inequities that persist to this day. Millions of Americans received a foothold in the middle class, right? Dean talked about Laurelton, right? Very proud of the community that I come from, but it deals with struggle every day. When my parents tried to buy a house in Laurelton, they struggled because of legislative constraints that came out of the New Deal, right? This legislation restricted Black and brown Americans and workers all across the country from key programs in a systematic way, like protections under the National Labor Relations Act. Also programs like the Homeowners Loan Corporation. In fact, the Federal Housing Administration promoted racial covenants, documents, and other instruments of segregation by refusing home loans to Black and brown families. And these moves weren't accidental, right? They were intentional. Occupations dominated by people of color were intentionally cut out of these programs. Occupations like domestic and agricultural workers, a strategy to win support of the Southern Democrats. Now, that's enough about a history lesson, right? But I think the context is really important to talk about where we are today. But who will be the stewards of this change? So as COVID has shined a light on many of the stark racial and economic inequalities in communities all across this country and across the city, many of which trace their roots back to this historic legislation and other pieces of legislation throughout history. And this legislation that we're still talking about it 93 years later, right? It's crucial that we learn from the past and we don't make mistakes moving forward. Things like loan discrimination and predatory lending practices, redlining, eviction policies, and employment discrimination have all led to income inequality and insecurity that seems like issues of the past. However, we know that they are reshaped into different forms and have led to racial wealth gap that remains persistent to today. So the full recovery of our city and of our disadvantaged communities will depend on a targeted support intentionally designed to programs that educate our workforce and uplift our citizens out of poverty, and the meaningful participation of those citizens that are historically and directly affected by these. I truly believe the participation of these communities must be involved. And who will be the stewards of that change? This is why I strongly feel programs like the BMI initiative is so important. This is why we are here today. This is why this program exists. Programs that directly address the historical and structural barriers that prevent some of our most marginalized citizens from participating fully in what our society has to offer and will create change for the future. Who better than those folks who have firsthand experience in this equality and discrimination? A program that addresses the fact that Black males in New York City and beyond face unique challenges and of ongoing discrimination that impact their education and employment potential. I'm not sure if people truly recognize the historic investments made in the development of programs like the BMI program. Things like creating a safe space to learn and develop academically. Things like individual support, right, for formerly incarcerated individuals and students who may have had difficulty navigating the system. Culturally competent learning, right? People learn and retain information differently, right? How do we really create and craft a curriculum that addresses those challenges? Tutoring and supplemental academic services, networking opportunities, right? We talked a lot about that. These are the tools that can help level the playing field and create the stewards of change that I'm talking about. These are important as we produce the city's talent that keeps the city moving, like I was talking about earlier. So earlier I spoke about this really important and really special CUNY connection that I feel and the relationship that we have in this elite club that I like to call it. And through this club, we really need to make sure that we stay engaged to help our city, to help our neighborhood, to help our communities, to make sure that it's a better place for our future, for people who live, work, and visit in New York City. And as we look at those challenges that we face that the city has faced, right? I call on each and every one of you. This is my call to action. I'm putting you to work, right? We must stay engaged. We must make sure that we are those those stewards of change that I talked about. And New York City has long been seen as an economic and commercial capital of America. How do we make sure that we participate in that, right? With a similar crisis in our rearview mirror, right? Namely, the Great Depression talked about that. The 1970 fiscal crisis in which Abney was created, Superstorm Sandy, right? We're coming up to the 10th year anniversary of Sandy next month. With all of these at our crossroads, we must think about how do we recover our city for all and make sure that is inclusive and it addresses our issues in a comprehensive way. The pandemic has really revealed those underlying issues and cracks in our city's core infrastructure that I talked about. And the CUNY family, whether in government or the private sector, nonprofit or for-profit, we must use this opportunity to rebuild our city into a more equitable, inclusive place. If you leave with anything that I said to here today, right, it's that call to action. We must help our city in crisis, help our most vulnerable communities and individuals. The work that's needed over the next 2, 5, 10 years, the policy actions of our new mayor who was here earlier, right? We have a huge new city class of city council members, the majority, which are new. 5 of the borough presidents, right? Also new. We need to make sure that those with firsthand knowledge, like you in this room, of the challenges that shape not only our community, but also the future generations, participate in these legislative actions. It's time for us to move away from these short-sighted recovery efforts that really just exacerbate the inequalities in our communities. And the CUNY family will do that. I truly believe it. We must give specific attention to the equitable, inclusive recovery for all of our small businesses, for our nonprofit organizations, for all our support systems in society. I really believe it's the CUNY family that can do this. The next generation of New York City leaders will come from CUNY, will come from CUNY's BMI program specifically, and take the necessary steps to make sure that we succeed and we create a recovery that's truly inclusive and for all of our residents. So with that, I want to thank you. And please, before you leave, get my contact information. We have internships. We're launching a fellowship program, a paid fellowship program in January. But use those relationships, use those connections, specifically those CUNY connections, so that we can make sure that we have a better future for all. Thank you.
Let's give Melva another hand. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Our new BMI partner, ABNY. We're going to be doing a lot of work with them, and we really appreciate. I will tell you just on the little behind the scenes with this. One of the people I consult with respect to speakers and things like that. She said, "Hey, Melva Miller is a great speaker. You want to try to get her?" And I said, "There's no way she's going to come." She said, "No, I'm just trying." So I emailed her and said, "Hey," I introduced myself, and I said, "Okay, I'll wait like another week before she responds." 5 minutes, she responded to me and says, "I'd love to. I'm there." And I said, "Thank you so much." I really couldn't believe it. I was pinching myself. But thank you so very much for such an amazing job. And thank you for coming today. It's been a jam-packed day. It's not over yet. And so earlier today, you heard a little bit of an announcement and a preview of something that's brand new that we want to prepare a demonstration today for and show you. This is, as she'll explain, something that's new to not just BMI, but to CUNY. And so we want to bring back at this time Ms. Kimberly Gray.
Hello again, everybody. Thanks for continuing on. It's been an awesome day. So as a reminder, I'm Kimberly Gray. I am the founder of UVI, which is a technology company designed for engagement, for students, for citizens, and a way for us to communicate a lot better. So we're going to just take a couple of moments today and go through a very, very short demo of this amazing application that we're building, which is the official CUNY BMI app. So we're going to go ahead, if you want to start to play the demo, our engineer in the back here. So this is what the login screen, this is something two of our engineers, our CTO is here and our lead software developer are here. So this is something that we're working on a daily basis. And all of the feedback that we've received from everyone, this is what you'll be able to do on this actual app. So you'll be able to log in as a member using your CUNY IDs or as a mentor or faculty member. And as you can see, it has a very familiar social media style interface. Here's the event we're at right now. So what's different about this from your typical Instagram or even Facebook is that you can respond with video, audio, and text commenting in real time. So this is a patent that I created called Action Command Messaging. And we actually had to defeat Google to get this patent. So this is literally the first application of its kind that enables students, instructors, mentors to communicate in real time together. Right. So within this, you can post documents, you can post videos, you have different groups. This particular POV is an admin or instructor POV. So you can have alumni groups, college campus groups, and GED programs as well. This would be for alumni, again, from an admin POV. So here, it's all about capturing the data that measures the feedback that helps create predictive analysis to make things better. So from here, we've already creating surveys that can be deployed on a daily, weekly basis to give stand-ups. Like our keynote spoke to, it's all about engagement, right? But how do we keep these stories going? How do you help people in real time? That's what this app is for. So as you can see here, as a mentor or as a faculty member, you can set a cadence of follow-ups with students, with mentees and mentors. We were talking about how can we match the right mentees with the right mentors. This is the place to do that by asking questions and onboarding surveys to get that information. So from here, you can add multiple questions. And what's cool about this, it's a virtual multimedia survey. So not only can you respond with a short answer, which can be video, audio, and text, you can also add polls. Right? So if you just want to get a consensus or quorum from your team, you can get that information quickly. Do we want to go here? Do we want to go there? How are things moving along? You can get those answers. Right. And this is something that can be extremely helpful when you're doing interviews, so having a mock interview method to understand how you can do better in certain types of interviews. And most importantly, the data. So everything we're doing here, and remember, this is the first app that will connect all CUNY campuses, right? Every CUNY BMI branch, every director together. So here you'll be able to see the results of all of the surveys, all of the information that is passing through the application that has been tagged, identified with metadata, and this goes right up the pipeline, right? So you can actually, once you launch an initiative, you can see the results, right? Because it's great to do things, but to know the outcome of those things is priceless. Okay, so now again, very familiar social media style interface. You have your various groups, you have your messaging. There's a DM function in here. We have something else called a string function. Here's your profile. So for the various campuses, you'll be able to connect with Lehman, we'll be able to connect with the Medgar branch and John Jay. And, so all the people that are in the room that never knew about each other, now they have a place that they can call home and communicate. So now we're logging in from a student POV. And again, we're talking about Generation Z here. So it's like this is a TikTok generation. So you have to meet students where they are with real content, right? On the fly questions that they can respond to. So here's a great example of our technology action command messaging. So as you can see, the question is in the video capture screen. We're taking a text from a text box and putting into the video capture screen of your recording device in real time. So you're getting instant responses on the fly. That's what makes a good interview candidate successful. It's not, grades are great, but if you can't speak, if you can't articulate yourself, if your diction is off, that could mean the difference between you getting a job or not. right? So again, within this, we have so many groups for mentorship, right? And you'll be able to link into additional resources. So again, you can upload documents, video, you can hyperlink to other environments within the application, and you can respond with video, audio, and text, all in one interface, all without leaving the application. So we're just very, very excited to build this out. And so many students just today have come up to me interested in when's the app launching? When is it coming out? I'm like, we're working on it, guys. We can work on it faster with your support. Right. So Jonathan may be too bashful to say, but I know he put a lot of work into this. And, we need the donorship. We need the support. We need to get the word out there. So he's the man to talk to if you're interested in helping us with that. So again, you can respond with a video comment, audio, and text. We take all of this actionable data and parse it out so we can provide solutions. This is something we're doing in higher ed. This is something that we're doing with the city of New York with OTI supporting. We want to do the same thing to support citizen engagement here with the city. Because we need to hear from the students. We're serving them. They pay tuition, right? So let's make sure that we can help them with the CUNY BMI app. Thank you guys so much.
Let's give Kimberly another hand. And that amazing, amazing app that she and her company are putting together, that we've been so fortunate enough that we will launch very, very soon this semester. So we're just working on the behind the scenes stuff now. She also mentioned support. So we are always looking for support. And one way that you can support is we have an event coming up December the 7th. It is a holiday mixer. It is going to be at the Water Club, and we're looking for support for that particular type of program. You're going to hear a lot more about it today. I do also want to thank Jorge, who's going to come up, but we put together today's conference through the app called Hova, and so we're going to communicate with all close to 400 people who've registered. We're going to communicate regarding the mixer and a bunch of other things through there, as well as our website, and then ultimately through the app as well. So we're really excited about that. I do want to say that we were to have another greetings from Councilman Eric Dinowitz, who is obviously a supporter of the program. He's the chair of higher ed for the city council. However, he had a meeting with the chancellor at 1:00, so he could not. He called me yesterday and says, "What am I going to do?" So therefore, the chancellor had to go and Eric had to go to meet to talk about how to support BMI. No, but. One would hope, but we are very. He's very supportive, but I will tell you, he's actually supporting us through an initiative that we're working on out of the Bronx, specifically, and I'll unveil that at a later time. But we are, as the mayor mentioned earlier, we're really interested in change and being agents of change. And so we're specifically working with some of our campus directors who are from the Bronx community, from Lehman and from Hostos, and working on a pilot project to help out some high schools in the Bronx against actions that are sort of detrimental to young people. So that will be talked about a little bit later, but we are very excited about the young people who are here today. And so we want to continue with our awards, and after the awards, we will have the raffles, as I mentioned, and I'll tell you exactly what we are raffling, just so you get excited now, and you say don't leave. So we do have, as I mentioned, 2 tickets. I think I mentioned 2 tickets to a Mets home game for this season. We do have a Mookie Wilson signed baseball. We do have a Chris Bassett signed baseball. We do also have an immaculate Ron Darling signed baseball. And as you can see, there's a cap. So you may know from earlier this season, there was a no-hitter. And so there were 5 pitchers who pitched in that particular game, with James McCann as the catcher, Tyler McGill, Drew Smith, Jolie Rodriguez, Seth Lugo, and Edwin Diaz all signed the cap. It's worth about $6 million. Oh, sorry, $6. But I know that's BMI. That's not. Um, but it is for you today, and that's thanks to where is he? I can't see him. I know he's here. Where's yeah? Where's Carter at? He's tipped. I'll introduce him later. He's been the one that's made all this happen today. But anyway, so that will come. That will come in a little bit. But before then, we want to continue with our amazing presentations to some of the most amazing young people that the BMI program has produced. And next up is the CUNY School of Law.
Greetings, everyone. It is such an honor and a privilege to be here. My name is Dania Levister. I'm the Associate Dean for Enrollment Management and Access Initiatives, as well as the Executive Director of the Pipeline to Justice at the City University of New York School of Law, the #1 social justice law school in the nation. And outside of the historically Black colleges and universities, the most diverse law school in the nation. I'm here to present the Stellar Scholar Award to Alexander Worden. Alex, come on. I want to share a little bit about Alex's journey today. It hasn't been an easy road. Alex was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn's in the house. That's right. When he graduated from high school, Alex was one of the most talented running back safeties in New York State. That took drive and dedication that, while in high school, began each morning with a 2-mile jog at 5:45 a.m. every day. He has lived through many of the struggles that go along, too, with living while Black in New York City or anywhere. Struggles with safety, with stigma, with stereotyping, and the painful experiences that many of us share when people who are close to us are impacted by our criminal justice system. While in high school, Alex witnessed a public defender provide passionate representation for someone he cared deeply about. He was shocked to see that robust representation exuded by a stranger, and seeing that ran contrary to the view he had held of lawyers as cold, uncaring. Seeing that ignited a fire in him. Seeing that was the beginning of a dream to one day learn how to passionately defend the rights of vulnerable persons facing the weight of the law. The Pipeline to Justice program offers a second chance at admission to excellent public interest focused students whose LSAT scores do not reflect their achievements or their potential. Pipeline provides access to law school for those who come from historically excluded communities. And let's face it, we just heard our speaker share the reality of institutionalized racism and systemic racism in our educational system. And why do the scores look like they do? That is why. We heard earlier from speakers who talked about diamonds. Alex is a diamond. When Alexander initially applied to law school, he was not accepted, but he persevered. And I'm guessing that might have something to do with the drive it took to get up at 5:45 every morning to run 2 miles. He stayed with it and ultimately began law school as a Pipeline student. He graduated from our evening program in May 2022. There's much more I could say about Alex, Counselor Alex Worden. Here are a few things about this amazing Black man. Alexander Worden has built a reputation for furthering Black male representation both personally and professionally. As a former Division I football player, Alex supports student athletes in navigating the peaks and pitfalls of scholastic sports. As a former military service member, Alex provides mentoring and career counseling for high risk and at risk youth. Alex's work in supporting his community continues well after graduating the CUNY School of Law, and he recognizes that his candidacy for admission to the New York State Bar is a significant accomplishment for Black men who share his story. This fall, Alex is working with the Chief Diversity Officer and Title IX Coordinator at Hunter College, Dean John Rose, doing anti-discrimination and sexual harassment work. Alex's story of having overcome obstacles, staying the course, remaining devoted to his dream, and remaining connected to his support community is what CUNY Law's pipeline to justice is all about. Alex, you have a bright and shiny future ahead of you. Believe in you, because we do. On behalf of the CUNY BMI, the CUNY School of Law, and the Pipeline to Justice team, Samuel Gajan, Program Director Emily Porter, Professor Carolyn Nelson, and myself, we are all here today to support you. It is my honor and my privilege to present you with the Stellar Scholar Award. Congratulations and well done.
Wow, that was looking back, and I had something written today too, and that just threw me off a little bit. I guess looking back and seeing all the stuff, you pick your head up from keeping your head down, and you see all the stuff that you did, and it feels really, yeah, you're grateful for it, and you feel good about it, and hopefully that can impact other men that look like you and women as well. And thank you, Dana. That really set the tone a little bit for me. Um, so I'll be quick. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon now. Uh, wow, there are many outstanding Black people in and throughout the CUNY system, and what an honor it is to be here today. Before I start, I just want to give a shout out to the Most High, my partner Niche, my daughter Ellis, John J, director of BMI, Marie Vidal. She really got me going. Um, Pipeline Justice Coordinator Emily Porter. ED of Pipeline to Justice Dean Dana Leverster. She just gave that great story about me. And last and certainly not least, the woman that got me and many other Black and brown women and men into law school. We call her the GOAT, Carolyn Nelson. Can you just stand up, Carolyn, please, 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 Carolyn. She's this lady. I love this lady. She got me into law school, and it's been a long road trying to get in. Obviously Dana said I played sports since I was a young man. I played football at the almost at the highest level, playing Division One, baseball, basketball. Um, so when I transitioning from sports to having to take away your prowess from the field and use it in the classrooms and using your mind, finding Carolyn and helping me get into law school was just it was a blessing and a part of my journey. So she's means so much to me and my family. So I always tell every time I see her, I love her up because that's the she's the catalyst. So looking around today, around this room today, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. Not only from receiving an award, doing the work that I love, but because it's happening at Citi Field and the Mets are in the playoffs. So I'm very happy about that. LFGM. In all seriousness, though, I'm deeply appreciative of this award. As a kid, I had a great support system that allowed me to become the man that I am today. And the work is not finished. as a co-chairman of the city organization, which stands for Coney Island Training the Youth of New York, and a board member of the Axum Leadership Institute. We're non-for-profits that's committed to empowering the youth and those communities bereft of those support systems that I had. Um, because somewhere out there in the trenches and the tenements of the city is a young man or young person who has a brain that can cure the most deadly diseases, or the solution that creates global wealth, or could just flat out advance the collective consciousness. So after you leave here today, as socially as safe as possible, love on your children, your family, even your neighbors, because one day they can be standing right where I am today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, so very much. Now we're going to have the program directors from Hostos Community College come up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes. I'm Jorge Rodriguez from Hostos Community College. I'm the director of Hostos BMI. Together we can achieve more. I would like to acknowledge also the presence of our associate director, Professor Antonio Varela, Professor Annie Ivanova, and the coordinator, Christian Wacom. On behalf of Hostos BMI team, it is our pleasure to introduce our BMI Stellar Scholar Award to engineering alumni Ibrahima Ducore, who is currently working as an engineer at a Navy facility in Pennsylvania. During Ibrahim's stay at Hostos BMI, he played key roles serving our minority and underrepresented students in STEM as tutor, mentor, peer, and a friend. He's a role model who our students look up with admiration and inspiration. Congratulations, Ibrahima, on this well-deserved award. Thank you for all what you have done and continue doing for our BMI and STEM community. Thank you very, very much. We wish you continued success on your current and future endeavors. Thank you, Ibrahima. Please take this award.
Right. Thank you, everyone. I'm very happy to receive this award. And first and foremost, my name is Ibrahim Adukore. And I just want to send a thank to the Hostos Community College, the CUNY BMI program, and everyone present to this conference today. So I am truly overwhelmed with gratitude and honor to have been selected to receive this award. Thank you all so much for being here to share this moment with us. Coming as an immigrant from a French-speaking country from West Africa called Guinea, a couple of years back, the Hostos Community College and the CUNY program installed in me the idea that despite my background, I can make my dreams come reality if I put in the work. Fast forward a year or so ago, I completed my undergrad degree in mechanical engineering at City College and landed a job in the field of my dream, and will continue and will start my master's degrees in nuclear engineering soon. And that, as you all can imagine, thank you. And as you all can imagine, that really has changed my life and the lives of all the peoples around me. And I owe this to God, my family, the Hostos Community College, and the Black Male Initiative Program. Thank you all.
Let's give him another hand. And now we're going to ask the representatives from Lehman College to come forward. Lehman, not here. Oh, there you are. Okay, there you are. Sorry. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Professor Jean-Paul Adjurabe. I'm here on behalf of Michael Dees, the director of the Urban Med Leadership Program. I'm going to be the one introducing our scholar, Michael Beasley. He was a wonderful student because I got the opportunity to work with him because I'm the Academic Intervention Success Coordinator currently with the Urban Med Leadership Program. Therefore, I've seen Michael grow as a student to a professional. I still remember as a student, he was carrying a business card. Yes, he was carrying a business card. The moment I came to the Urban Leadership Program and he showed me his business card, I said, this guy is on his way to do well. Because as a student, when I met him, we got the opportunity to connect. Because every time I was calling him, I say, Michael, can you come for your 101 consultation AIS? He said, Professor Jean-Paul, yes, I can do that. And it's a pleasure for me to introduce Michael Beasley, the Urban Med Leadership Program graduate, multimedia, film.
Hello, everyone. I would like to first thank God for all the blessings that I have and all the blessings I have yet to come in my life, of course. I also want to thank the strongest woman in my life, which is my mom, who shows me what true strength is every day, not giving up on me, being a single mom, and just being a true representative, not to just to myself, but to my whole community, showing them love and compassion. I also like to thank my sister Jasmine, my auntie Debbie, my dad Al. I'm trying to hit all the names so that they can say like, "Hey, you shout me out." Okay. Um, my godmother, Miss Rosa, and Miss Adiz, who couldn't be here, but I know he's here with me in spirit. Um, I remember my first time coming to the BMI conferences and our program here at Lehman College. The first feeling that I got from them was that this is a family, and which was something that I definitely needed at the time, being a small fish in such a big pond. And no one in my family went to college, so it was a scary moment, a scary experience for me. But thankfully, I met the right people. And I met these guys, these wonderful guys, who pretty much held my hand and showed me the ropes, and they told me that you're not alone. And that's exactly what BMI is all about, telling all the young new students and even the alumni, you are not alone, that we can do this together. After I graduated from Lehman College in 2019, I don't mean to date myself, but 2019, 3 months after that, I got my first job at the Walt Disney Company. And then after that, I started going back to my old high school and middle school, and I talked to a lot of the new students, and they asked me a lot about like, oh, how did you get that? How did you get that job? How did you get a 3.6 GPA in college? How did you get your internship at BronxNet, at Lehman College and stuff? And I told them all the same thing, is that when you change your perspective, you change your life. I changed my perspective on life, on how valuable life is, and how valuable the energy, the money, the time, and the effort that we invest into our dreams, and that every second, every cent counts in that. So I try to definitely represent not only my family but my community, and just show them that the value in education. The more you know, the more you can do, and the more you can do, the more opportunities are presented to you. And hopefully, I was able to do a good job to my community, my family, my nieces who are watching me. I love them. And I just want to thank everyone here for being the village for all the students here to help us change the future for Black men. Thank you.
And now we'll have the New York City College of Technology with Dr. James Blake.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. And I have the distinct honor of introducing you to one of our finest students at City Tech. We have worked with many students over the years, but only a few reached the level that this young lady has reached. She has been to the NIH and she has done 2.5 years of study, and she's now embarking on her MD PhD. At City Tech, she has been a mentor. She has certainly been one of our brightest stars. And I'm going to decrease now that she might increase, and I'll introduce you to Sarafat.
I'm going to have to decrease this first. Hi, everybody, and good afternoon. And it is a great honor to be here, to be called upon by Dr. Blake. It's been a wonderful piece of my story and one of the reasons I stand here, and one of the reasons I have achieved a lot of things I have achieved. Same goes for Mrs. Sonia, with all the emails about all the things I should sign up for that she believes I could do. So I really want to say thank you to you both. And it will be remiss of me if I also don't thank my parents, because they have been my greatest support. I have had the wildest dreams of things I want to be. And all through it, they're always there for me, supporting me. Same with my siblings, always giving me the strength to go on. So I did not know I was to give a speech. Wow. We're going to rough it and see how it goes. So I will say I came to the United States in 2013. I am originally from Nigeria, West Africa. I've seen a lot of my people. And one of the questions people ask me is, what was your greatest culture shock? And they're always surprised by my answer, which is, I never knew I was Black until I came to the States. And they're like, oh, what do you mean by that? I'm like, growing up at home, we did have foreigners. We did have people who were of different races, but I never felt like I was different. I felt like we were one, we were part of it. But coming to the States, it was a situation where my race was used to determine a lot of things. The kind of schools I could go to, the kind of scholarships I could apply for, the kind of mentorship I could have. And this felt very alienating. But then came in the BMI, and I met people who looked like me. And even those who did not look like me had the same experiences I had had, and the same experiences I was still going to have. And this just made them my family. It made them my piece of support. It made them my mentors. It made me dream bigger than I could ever dream. Because coming to the States, my goal was I was going to medical school, come hell or high water. And I remember when I was signing in to come into City Tech, and someone asked me, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to study? And I'm like, oh, I'm studying medicine. And she's like, but we don't have medicine. I'm like, I know, but you have a pre-med program. I'm like, that's where we're going to start from. And we began that story, and then I went into research, mostly because of the money, people. I went into research, and I fell in love with it. And I was at this crossroad of, okay, we want to go to medical school, but we also love research, and we don't have this. How do we reconcile that? And due to the mentors I met through the BMI program, they told me about the MD PhD program. And I got home and I told my mom, like, I'm doing the MD PhD. And she's like, okay, like, how many years does that take? And we had a whole conversation about that. But after telling them all about it, they asked me, what do you need to succeed? Same thing with the BMI. What do you need to succeed? I told them all the things I had to do, the research I had to do, the volunteer I had to do. Then comes in Miss Sonia sending me those emails. I saw this and I remembered you and what you want to do. So they have been a big part of my story. To wrap this all up, and I think the theme of this will be mostly about hurdles and mentorship. And I wrote like a little spiel. I know I said I didn't have a speech, but yeah, I lied. I had a little thing to end this way. And it goes like this. Never let your identity, it could be your race, it could be your gender, because I know being a Black woman, I have seen a lot of Black women today who are powerhouses. It could be your sexual identity. Never let your identity, never let your past. You could have made mistakes in the past. You could have had a bad story that has brought you this far. Never let your present. You might be going through hurdles right now. It could be financial, it could be mental, it could be anything. But never let any one of those limit you. Instead, let it be the spark that pushes you to break down every hurdle and be the solution for the problems that you currently face. Because at the end of the day, someone's coming right behind you who is going to face those same hurdles and feel like, I could never do this. But they're going to see you and use you as a point of contact. And like, if she could do it, if he could do it, if they could do it, I could do it. Thank you so much for this.
Our conference next year happens to take place at the campus of this next presenter. So, would the presenters and program directors from Queens College please come forward?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to be here. So happy to see so many familiar faces and a lot of new ones. Hope to see you in the future as well. My name is Rajiv Singh. I'm the program director for Project Excel at Queens College. I am honored to introduce and present this much deserving award to Mr. Nathaniel Page. Nathaniel, you can come forward. Before I present the award, I just want to say a few words about Nathaniel. We go way back. Beyond him just being a student of mine, he's a friend of mine. I consider him in many ways his bigger brother. I'm sure many of my fellow directors and program coordinators will appreciate this. You know, when we constantly remind our students that we are here for you, do not hesitate to reach out. Any questions or concerns, we are here for you. Well, in addition to doing all of that, I will also tell them you can reach me at any time, anywhere. You can call, text, or email me. It is safe to say that Mr. Page exercised and exhausted all of those options during his time. And I won't have it any other way, by the way. Um, Even when he would visit the office and spend time hours trying to convince me unsuccessfully that Michael Jordan is better than LeBron James. I am sorry, Nate. I'm not having that. I first met Nate whilst working as a supplemental instructor with the SEEK program during his first semester in 2017. His infectious personality and ambitions to succeed, not just in his academic and professional endeavors, but also in his desire to serve as a member in our mentoring community, could not have shined any brighter. Nathaniel went on to serve as a mentor in our program for 3 years, taking a quicker than usual leap to becoming a mentor due to his outstanding profile. Nathaniel graduated with a degree in economics and finance from Queens College in fall of 21 during, of course, the COVID hit period, but thankfully he was able to attend commencement this past summer, and I was fortunate enough to have met his family as well. From our first interaction to present, we've been in close contact. Of all of the students that I've came across and worked with closely, Mr. Page stands at the very top, and all of that is his doing. I am happy to share that today Nathaniel works as a consultant at McKinsey and Company, the biggest, the biggest consulting, the biggest and most prestigious consulting company in the world. Yes, the world. Our BMI students reside at the very top. Nathaniel, please accept this award for your outstanding years of commitment to the Black Male Initiative. Beyond all of your incredible accomplishments, above all, I am most proud of the man you are today. We are so proud of you, and we look forward to seeing you continue to strive. Thank you.
Wow. All right. The first thing I want to do is, can we please get a round of applause for the faculty that created this event? I know you guys worked extremely hard. This is amazing. So yes, as Rajiv mentioned,
Well, the first mistake actually that Rajiv made was giving me his phone number. Because, like he mentioned, it's like he read my mind. We didn't even discuss this. He said that I've exhausted every single opportunity, every single chance that I could get to be able to nag him, to bug him. So I really want to thank him so much, for being there for me and just being an inspiration to me and being a big brother to me. Besides that, I also want to thank George, who's also in the audience. Could we please give him a round of applause too? He's done tremendous things for the BMI program at Queens College. He's really just been a voice and an inspiration to us on the Queens College campus. Besides that, I want to thank my mom. My dad, they're not here, but my mom, she came here at 19 years old, not a dollar in her pocket, from Trinidad and Tobago. And she was the biggest inspiration to me. So yes, as Rajiv mentioned, I have a lot of, career success very young. McKinsey & Company is the #1 consulting firm. It's less than a 1% chance to be able to get in. They receive 1 million applications yearly, but all of that is nice and very important and amazing. But the BMI program has really allowed me to be able to serve my community. And it's given me a platform to be able to give back. So it's just that's been the biggest and the most influential thing to me. So I just wanted to thank BMI again. I also want to thank my other mentor, Walel Sheikh, from the Birthright Africa program. Birthright Africa is a program that focuses on the cultural roots and legacy of innovation of people all across African diaspora. These are the things that are really important to me. These are the things more so important than the corporate, the career things. So I just wanted to. I'm really thankful. I don't really have anything prepared, but this is an awesome moment. Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, the next award comes from York College, but that would be me because I, as you may know, formerly served as the director at the York College Male Initiative BMI program for 16 years. Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Before I present, though, I do want to recognize the king of mentoring is here, Mr. Keith Howard from the New York State Mentoring Program. It's my Dr. Keith Howard. See what I did there? But while serving as director of the York College Male Initiative Program, we have, and it's for so long, we have so many young people that we work with. I also am a faculty, so I also taught and still do teach at York. But there was one particular young man who came through the program from my classroom. He was in my class, and then I noticed with him that he, though a nice young man, would sleep pretty much every class. And I, and I don't really deal with. I can't take that, And we talked, and he shared a lot with me, from that particular experience, and I learned that as a young man, he had a misfortune, became a victim of gun violence as a teenager, and mentioned that when he's around these types of lights, like fluorescent bulbs, it kind of reminds him of the time that he was recovering, and therefore kind of triggered something to make him sleep. And he apologized profusely over and over and over again. And but he still slept. No, but he. But I got to know him, and he became part of our program, but still had a lot of things to deal with in life. Became very independent, not because he wanted to be, but because he was forced to be. And I chose him to be part of today's proceedings because besides having to deal, and you've heard some of the other award scholar recipients receive and talk about their experience with the law and with different things, and he's had experience with a lot of that. But more importantly, he decided one day, I remember he would call sometimes, and when he was having challenges, he decided one day, in figuring out what he wanted to do, he's also a graduate of the program as well. Deciding what he wanted to do, deciding what he wanted to do with his life, and ultimately, I think he realized the circumstances by which he came through were those very things that he wanted to change. And so now, long story short, he's a practicing counselor with an LMSW, and I want to introduce and present this to Mr. Marcel Crooks.
Hello, everybody. No matter how many times I have to do this, it doesn't get any easier. I really hate public speaking. But Dr. Quash is a very surprising person. He reaches out to me time to time, and like today, he told me, "Hey, I have an award for you." He didn't tell me it was going to be this big of a award ceremony. I met Jonathan in 2007. I had him as a music professor my freshman year at York College. During that time, I slept in his class because I didn't know what college was. It was a new world. I am the first college graduate from my family. I slept every day. Yeah, and at the end of the semester, though, he gave me a job. So I really never understood why he gave me a job. But what I will say is he's seen hope, and he gave me hope. He's seen something inside of me that I probably didn't see in myself, and even today, as a licensed practicing social worker and psychotherapist, I still struggle with being in certain rooms. Imposter syndrome is a real thing. As a practicing therapist, I do have a therapist. Well, I specialize in trauma, anxiety, and depression, mostly because those are some of the things that I went through after getting shot in 2006. I am a native of South Jamaica, Queens. I was shot 6 blocks approximately from my building. And that played in my mind for a very, very long time. A lot of the decisions that I made prior to that probably led up to that moment. But I try not to allow those things to take over my mind and still focus on the career that I have today. Jonathan served as a very great mentor, along with some people in the SEEK program at your college. I didn't know what I wanted to do for a very long time, but I managed to figure it out right after I got my master's. So some of the things that I do, I do various community events. I mentor young boys from South Jamaica, and I started an initiative called Represent the Alternative. So what that is it's an innovative, highly creative, socially motivated, service-centered company based in the heart of South Jamaica. So what I do is I promote change by offering educational resources, community leadership, and mentoring to provide positive solutions to those impacted by negative circumstances. So I lost my father when I was 17 years old to gun violence. For as long as I've known, I couldn't keep a job prior to the one Jonathan gave me, and he fired me 3 times. So when I decided to all right, I'm going to finally keep a job, it was in 2012, and I've been working at this company for quite some time, and I am the deputy director for the largest housing program in New York City for a nonprofit. So with Represent the Alternative, I committed to tackling social health and economic challenges that have plagued the South Jamaica community while transforming the stigma surrounding it. My multifaceted approach to driving change includes providing alternatives via services, leading support groups, therapy workshops, and sponsoring community events. So everything that I do, it comes from some type of experience that I've went through. My mother, she is a recovering addict. She's still in recovery. And I was raised by my grandmother. I had periods of kinship foster care, but while trying to find that way, Jonathan helped me with that, and the Black Male Initiative program helped me with that. Not having a male figure at an early age, the first thing you're introduced to in my neighborhood when you come outside is basketball, drugs, guns, and gangs. So the most enticing person when I was growing up was the average drug dealer, right? So there wasn't a Jonathan in my neighborhood to say, don't do that, So I am very grateful to Jonathan, the Black Male Initiative program. and everyone here and all the recipients who spoke before me, because you guys, you did great. As nervous as you was, and I'm still nervous, here now. So thank you.
I was hoping he'd leave out the detail of me firing him 3 times. It was tough love, All right. The last recipient that we have today comes from LaGuardia Community College's Fatherhood Academy. And for anyone that knows Raheem Brook, that's what's up.
Man. So it's an honor to be here today. Privilege because I am BMI. How about y'all? Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. I am BMI. It's amazing just to hear all the stories. It's just to be a part of this initiative here. It's also amazing to meet Mr. Met. I gotta say that was pretty cool. I gotta say, let's go Mets. Don't get mad, Yankee fans. We cool. And it's incredible to be standing here with my brother Christian Ortiz. The Fatherhood Academy, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but 1 in 5 students in college are student parents. Mr. Christian Ortiz is one of those fathers and that came through our program. And what we do is support fathers academically, with counseling as well, and mentorship. Christian came to us over 5 years ago. It was recommended from Mr. Andre Ford, who is our lead HSC instructor. And when he was working at Odyssey House, they met there. And he said, "Yo, I got this brother. He needs to be a part of this program here." He came to us. He ended up acquiring his GED. I'm not going to say how many times it took, but he got it though. He graduated. He graduated with an associate's degree from LaGuardia Community College, and then went on to Hunter College. And as of October, you walk soon. He has his bachelor's degree just recently. Man, congratulations, my brother. Most importantly, Christian, man, he's taught me a lot as a father. He has a beautiful 9-year-old daughter. We were just talking earlier today how he's so proud that she's doing so well in school. And I'm like, man, brother, that's you right there. That's a reflection. And not only is he's a dad, he's bringing that to our program. He's our mentor coordinator now, and he just gives so much to our program and our brothers that come through the program. He's a beautiful brother, really, sincerely. He's honest. He's real. He's passionate about supporting and serving his community. He lives right up the block from me. He's right on Dykeman, and I'm up the block from him. And we understand the struggle, and he understands his place in this world and his purpose. I'm gonna keep talking about him to go get that master's degree. He's been talking to me a little bit about getting the master's degree in social work. So we're gonna build on it some more. But I'm just. Again, I'm honored just to be here. And I'll let him tell his own story, which he does incredibly well, man. My brother, and shout out to the CFA crew at LaGuardia Community College. They texted me. They said, I see Christian on the YouTube. So they send their positive energy. They send their love. Love you, brother. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, they texted me too. They say, "Yo, shout me out." Y'all not getting shouted out. Just watch. Nah. I'm very honored to be here. I'm very, very grateful to be here. Actually, on my 27th birthday, I put on Instagram. I said, "I'm ready for all the blessings that God and the universe have in store for me." So, this is just like reaping that. You know, I want to thank Raheem honestly, because when I came to the CUNY Fatherhood Academy, things was rough. I just had my daughter. I I had just dropped out of high school, even though I didn't want to drop out of high school. I didn't want that, like, I was fighting that title, but I was like, sometimes you just got to be free. And one thing I've been thinking about this whole time, aside from asking Mr. Donovan Mitchell why his son didn't come to the Knicks, I was thinking about I've been thinking about my mother a lot. So I feel like for me, the work that I'm doing now is just a blessing. And like it's been spoken of today, our kids become what they see. So growing up, I always saw my mom get up, go to work, walk 20 something blocks back home, be tired. I'll come wake her up. She'll make me something to eat. And it's just like, most importantly, what she gave me was a voice. She allowed me to be seen and feel loved. And that just plays a huge part. My mom worked with kids with disabilities. And you know, growing up and after when I turned 15, my mom got sick. She got brain diagnosed with brain cancer. It stemmed from she would come home, she'll just fall asleep, have these horrible headaches, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? But it's weird. Um, we mentioned, I forgot who mentioned earlier, our host, about talking to the ancestors and them guiding us even if they're not here. And she would always talk to me about what life would be like when she wasn't here. She said, when I pass away, this and this and this and this and all those things came to fruition. My mom actually passed away April 2nd of 2012. And um we take our pain, and if we can see it positively, we can make really good things out of it. So I feel like although my mom did pass away, she's still here with me. I can still reference her, I can still speak to her. I just kind of got to go within. But one of the things she mentioned lastly, before she passed away, was, she said it in Spanish, to not let me leave school. And I did, but I'm glad that I still turned around. And if it wasn't for people like Raheem and everybody at the CUNY Fatherhood Academy, not only would I not have my education, but I wouldn't be growing as the man that I am now, because I believe in 4.0s, but I really want a 4.0 in my real life. That's my goal. Um, but and another thing that I learned from Raheem too was like how to walk the walk and how to actually be a man. I looked at Raheem, him being married, him being present, him being strong without having to flex authority. And another thing I really appreciate from him is that he always let me have a voice, feel seen, feel valued, and feel like, yo, you're valued here. We love you. We appreciate you here. And after I got my GED, it was a couple times. Um, but it wasn't a couple times because I wasn't smart enough. It was because I wasn't focused. So that's something when after I got my GED and got into college, I saw the guys that came, quote unquote, behind me in the next cohort, and I said I want to find a way to help those guys. So for me, um, it's a two-generational approach. So it's not only helping them, but it's them bringing their babies and their kids, and us helping them to help their kids as well. I have a couple tattoos and I use them as references. So I have one that says legacy, and my daughter the other day, I had picked her up from school, and she's like, "What does that mean?" And I wanted to go to Google and be like, this is what it means. But the truth is that moments like this is what it means, is to show my daughter that I'm doing this not only for myself, but for her and for our future together. So I just want to say thank you, and let's go Mets.
Thank you so much. And there is one additional, my apologies, I'm looking at the wrong page, but we do have one final award to give. And it is from Kingsborough. We call him Dr. Rod.
Thank you, Dr. Quash. Um, you know, I'm from Kingsborough Community College, located in the wonderful borough of Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn in the house? Yes, Brooklyn is always in the house. One of the amazing things about working at a community college is we get students and they're only with us for 2 years. And I love the reference of diamonds, right? Because we get them and we start shining those diamonds up, because they're already diamonds. They just got to see it. So we shine those diamonds up, and then we got to pass them on to another program. And that's when they really get to
glow and grow and really kind of become that wonderful diamond that other programs take credit for. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Right? Ashton, you know what I'm talking about, me. You know, right? But once in a while, we get somebody who's already glowing. And this is this young man standing next to me, Mr. Javier Johnson. Javier?
Pleasant day, everybody. My name is Javier Johnson. I'm a 19-year-old and I'm in my second semester at Kingsborough Community College. So coming from Jamaica, I've been here for a year and a couple months now. So America is kind of new to me, coming from new environment. And when it was my first time coming to Kingsborough, I didn't know what to do. I was lost because I was going through a lot of things before I went to Kingsborough because I was ill. I was out of school for almost 2 years, and I didn't even know I would even be here today. So I'm thank God for that. And Dr. Rod is a phenomenal mentor, and he helped me through some times. He helped me through some very tough times. I wasn't a confident young man. I would doubt myself to doing things, and Dr. Rod, he sat with me and spoke to me, and he helped me become the man I am today, and I'm very proud of that. To look at myself now and said, look where I was, but Dr. Rod helped me to become this young man. And after meeting Dr. Rod, I have set a different mindset for myself. No more doubt could hold me back. No more fears could hold me back because I told myself I'm the best, I'm the greatest, and I will make my family proud, and everybody will be proud of me. And Dr. Rod, sir, you're the best, sir. I'm telling you, you're the best, sir. And I just want to big up Kingsborough School, big up the faculties there, they are great. Big up the BMI, everybody, everything is just great. And now I'm studying computer information systems, hoping to become an engineer in the future, or my dream job, a pilot, hopefully. And I want to big up my mom. She's outside waiting on me. I'm sorry about that, mom. I'm sorry about that. I'll be there soon. And wow, it's a great feeling to be here today. And I just want to say something that stuck with me for a while, and it's a code that I've learned while watching some YouTube videos. It is, do what you know if you know you wouldn't fail. And that really stuck with me because after that, I went out and do things I never thought of doing. I went out to become a student ambassador, and I'm a student ambassador now. And Dr. Ad told me millions of times, Javier, go for the student government. You will be such a great student government president. And I'm saying, sir, student government president, that's like a big role. I'm not that type of guy. And then I'll say, you know what? All right, so I'm going to take your advice. And no, I can't run from it as yet because I'm still in my second semester, but I'm going for the Senate, which I'm hoping to, well, which I know I will because I'm the best for it. Of course, I'm the best for it, of course. So, you know, they 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 will make the right decision because I'm just that guy. And and yes, it's a great feeling, very blessed, very honored. I wish my dad could be here today, but he's back in Jamaica. Hopefully he can hear me from here. But big up yourself, daddy. And I just want to big up everybody here, bless up everybody, and take care. Thank you.
All right, we are at the end, and now we have a raffle. I'm pushing because I promised to get out of here because they have to set up for another event tomorrow. But now we are at the time where we're going to have a raffle and then close the remarks. I'm going to raffle off a couple myself. The first are the 2 tickets to the Mets Regular season game. Again, I'm emphasize regular season game. Please don't call this in as a postseason game. So here's all your dean managers. I'm going to ask the dean to come forward and just pull manager to come and pull the ticket. There you go. He might pull his own.
Oh, you read it? No, want to read it?
Yes, sir.
This is like old school. We were like, Yolanda Vega. All right. No, I ain't giving out $280 million. All right, so I don't know. Usually people have the first three same numbers, right? But 582, everybody still in it? All right, that's it. Okay. 04, everybody still in it? I knew it. 1, who's still in it? Oh, shoot. No, I'm not finished yet. I fool with people. 1, 4. You got it? Hold on, let me see it. We got to double check it. Let me see it. Let's see. I'm a newsman. I don't believe anything. Let's see. Just match it up there, Doc. Yeah, that's it. All right.
All right, our next raffle will be for the Mookie Wilson signed ball, 1986 World Series ball. Mookie Wilson signed ball. Let's see. Our vice chancellor is still here, so I'm going to ask her to pull the next raffle. See, if it were me, I'd put my own raffle in there with my hand. Last three numbers are 419. 4-1. Maria got it? All right. Maria's like, you got me that time. Hey, out of get her.
All right. Hello, everyone. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Jorge Alguera. I am the Deputy Director for the CUNY Black Man Initiative. And thank you. I will be raffling out, the Chris Bassett signed baseball. And I'll pull this one out myself. I don't have anything in the bag, just so you know. All right. So last three numbers. 391. 391. Going once. Going twice. All right. Let's go second try. Okay, here we go. Last three numbers. 425. 425. Listen, don't ask me to buy you no lotto tickets. All right, here we go. Hopefully. 536. No? Go once? Twice? Wow. This is what happens when you leave early. If that one didn't win, I don't think this one's gonna win. 526. Oh, what number? Wait. 536. Miss Johnson. She was. Wait. But 53. Miss Johnson had 536. So should we do the two balls?
Let him fight. Okay.
So what do we do?
All right. We said 536 first. Yes, so that's correct. All right.
And to move things along, we'll just give away the Ron Darling signed baseball. By the way, Mookie Wilson and Ron Darling, world champions in 1986. So those are heavy balls you're carrying. So you know. Yes, so that's what we're gonna do. So the following number after that was 526, and we did have a winner with that. We just have to double check, right? All right, and here we go. $6 million hat. Thank you all for coming. Here we go. So this hat was signed by James McCann, Tyler McGill, Drew Smith, Joely Rodriguez, represent DR, Seth Lugo, and Edwin Diaz for all the Puerto Ricans in the house. Last three numbers, 521. 521. Yay! We have Dr. Carvajal, the interim director of Immigrant Student Success. Great. All funds will go to immigrant students.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. And I also have the distinct pleasure of closing out the show. So if Edwin Diaz can't go, I'm the closer, right? Just talking to the Mets people, they know. All right. Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone who came in person, and particularly all of you who stayed. As you saw, there was great incentive to stay. And so I'll just go right into my my remarks. What a day, right? It was we had remarks. Yes, please do. Yes. We had remarks from New York City Mayor Eric Adams. We had remarks from the first CEO of ABNY, Melva Miller, both of whom are CUNY alumni, hundreds of thousands of CUNY alumni. We also enjoyed remarks from Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez. We had our Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Dr. Denise Maybank. We also have in the house, and they're a little bit more conspicuous, Dr. Ian James, who is an absolute supporter from the very beginning. He really goes to like the first brick that was laid out for BMI. So thank you for being here. We also were blessed to have not one, but two fantastic MCs. Right, we had a morning with Cheryl Wills and Dean Meminger. We also heard from Donovan Mitchell, and while everybody is lamenting that his son didn't come to the Knicks, I really don't care. Being honest, but we also celebrated the stellar scholars, and truly, they are a fraction of the hundreds of students that are doing the work, that are grinding, that are waking up at 5:45, whether it's to run 2 miles, 5 miles, or just run life, right? And so they're essentially a representation of all the students that we see and that we work with and we see excel. I always said that the thing that happened once I moved from Queens College when I was the project director there to central office is that I aged faster because the students weren't keeping me young anymore. And that's what's happening at campuses, right? In reality, our directors look much older than what they look like now because the students are keeping them young, right? We revealed bold plans of the first CUNY-wide app. Thank you to Uvi for that. It is quite literally groundbreaking for all of us. And we also, for the first time in 2 years, celebrated a conference outside. Outside, right? But also outside of CUNY, right? This is the first time the CUNY BMI conference has been outside of a CUNY campus. And what a way to celebrate. I want to quote contemporary philosopher O'Shea Ice Cube Jackson when I say today was a good day. Right? But now we have to give thanks. So we want to, at least personally, I want to thank the Mets hospitality team for the arduous work. This place looks fantastic. Want to thank the CUNY BMI administrators once again. I will not get tired of thanking you all because of the work you do. It's truly why we're here. We also have to thank Dr. James once again because he is an advocate for us. At every room, every board meeting that we're not in, he speaks kindly and he speaks for us, trying to bring us to the table. We want to thank the members of the advisory committee who are here today, who are able to make it in person, and those who tuned in. Thank you for taking the time and being here and partaking and seeing the big plans that Dr. Quash is bringing to us. And with that, I want to thank Dr. Quash, right? Yes. Dr. Quash, in about 8 months, maybe less. I think it's like 6. I don't know. I'm in law school, so I lose track of time. In the time that he's been at the helm, has infused the central office with ideas and energy that was truly necessary for us to skyrocket. That's what we're doing, skyrocket to where we are going. So truly, thank you to Dr. Quash. Your leadership truly is what all of us have been needing. And historically, this has been kind of like the biggest event of the year for CUNY BMI, right? But this year, you've heard of a lot of ideas and a lot of plans being implemented. This is actually just the beginning. Please stay tuned. If you are not already, follow us on social media. Follow us on YouTube. You can catch up to all the CUNY BMI dialogues that are produced by the extraordinary Ron West, whom you've heard earlier today. And just help us celebrate all the students that you saw today, all the students that are going to continue to come through CUNY BMI. And with that, I'll leave Dr. Quash to give you all the blessing.
Peace. That's my mentor used to do. But no, thank you very much. I'm not gonna give a speech. Carter Edwards over there is looking at me, bro. Like, so he's been our ambassador here, and thank you, Carter, for making everything so smooth. He literally 12 hours a day would be texting me, "You okay? Anything you need? Ain't you sure? Anything you need?" And he's been absolutely amazing. So, but I want to thank you. It's not about me. I didn't do anything today. I want to thank you for all the hard work. Thank the Vice Chancellor too for being here, staying here all day. She didn't have to stay all day. She did have a meeting in between, but Carter found her space, and so she was able to do that. But thank all of you program directors. I've been there. I know what it's like. You know, I've been on the front line, as Ashton said, and I know it's overwhelming. You don't need to hear me yelling a lot of stuff about policy, do this, do that. You just need support, and that's really what I'm trying to do, is to support you as much as I can. So Jorge was right in that this is just the beginning. We're working with Ms. Gray and UV, and we have other organizations that we're partnering with, like the Mentoring Collective and a few others that we're really going to be pushing. The next big thing is Dr. Ron West Day, and that's going to be December the 7th at the Water Club, the Mixer, because that's going to be important. That's a huge event for us. We really need support. Kimberly was right. We really need it. And I'm not big at asking for money, but now we're going to take your checkbooks out. No, we want to we want to be able to really get some funds, because we really need to start getting back in the business of giving out scholarships and support to our to people in our program, to the participants in our program. And then following that, Ron's next big event is in Carnegie Hall. We have our gala in April, and so someone has to pay for that. So and it's not me. No, so so it's not BMI either. It's gonna be y'all. No, but really we're partnering actually with some sponsors, and we'll talk about that and going forward. But we really are excited about some of the things that are happening at BMI. We're excited that you are doing some amazing work. BMI is growing. We've grown even in the few months that I've been here since last year by close to 1,000 students, and we're continuing to grow. So we really want to make sure we are doing all that we can. So again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Mets, and thank you, City Field and Entertainment. I hope you had a great day. Be well, and thank you all those in the audience online. We really appreciate you being here today. And you can check out this video on YouTube at the CUNY BMI YouTube page. All right, you can see this today and make some memes of it, stuff like that. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.